Let me go back to Mr. DVS Ramesh. And Mr. Ramesh, the role of regulator has come for the appreciation from one and all. The regulator in India has been very, very proactive, and the kind of initiative the regulator took really has helped to change the face of health insurance in India. I would like to know from you what are the major initiatives that the regulator took post-COVID. If you could throw your perspective on that,
Yeah,
those issues, those initiatives.
sure. Thank you, Dr. Abhijit. In fact, at the very outset, we should compliment our Indian industry, the manner in which that they have risen to the occasion in the, in meeting the expectations of various stakeholders in general, and in particular the expectations of the policyholders as well. So, as far as the regulatory initiatives of post-COVID or during COVID by IRDA are concerned, in fact, when the when the COVID is in the very infancy stages in India, in March
Yes.
2020 itself. So we advise all the insurance companies that they shall be conscious of while settling the insurance claims, and that they shall demystify the myths on the part that is, if at all it is anything is there on the part of the policyholders. And we have also advised the policy insurance companies that the COVID claims settlement shall be on the topmost priority for the insurance companies. And as far as repudiation is concerned, that we advise the insurance companies that if any COVID claim is about to be repudiated, it shall be referred to the claims review committee of the respective insurance companies. So, in order to ensure that there is a faith of the insuring public on the insurance system as a whole, that we have taken very effective measures very well in time. That is one of the major initiatives, and our insurance industry has really rises to the occasion, and then they could settle the claims as well. During the phase of this particular COVID, we realized that what Malti Madam was also saying just now, that there is a missing middle, which is yet to be obtained for an appropriate health insurance coverage. As you know, getting a comprehensive health insurance solution is a little bit costly affair for the Indian population. What we thought from IRDA is that we thought that providing a short-term COVID specific cover may be of some help to the insuring public at large. Therefore, we asked all the insurance companies to design short-term COVID specific COVID disease specific insurance products, and insurance companies came forward. And in the month of June, we have devised a standard health insurance standard COVID specific product called Corona Kavach, and mandated all the insurance companies to offer that particular product. And all the insurance companies offered the product, and around approximately 32 lakhs of lives were covered. And one of the unconventional things which was thought at that time is during the lockdown time, if you may recollect, that insurance, the unorganized sector people, their income was affected. So we extended the grace period for renewal. Apart from that, otherwise, where the coverage is not available during the grace period, we mandated that they even the both during the grace period as also the extended grace period, they have coverage shall be available. That it helped the insuring public at large. Number one, number two. First of all, it has taken the spirits of our insuring public to the highest levels, and then now they have the best levels of comfort and confidence on the entire insurance industry. A number of steps we have taken, and these are the things what I can share it given the availability of time. But again, we should compliment the insurance industry for having very receptive to the initiatives of IRDA, and then taking forward the mantle of ensuring providing an appropriate COVID coverage to all the eligible policyholders of our country.
Mr. Ramesh, initially there was this doubt among the people who were holding the traditional health insurance policies that COVID was not covered. Many people were asking that questions, and there was this doubt among in the minds of many people. How did you really combat that situation?
No, in fact, that was one of the doubts that was there in the minds of an insuring public in the middle of March, and then immediately, sometime
Right.
in the end of March, we issued a press statement saying that all the insurance products that are offering hospitalization cover on indemnity basis also cover the COVID coverage. That is number one. In fact. COVID specifically is not an exclusion per se in any of our products. We have also reviewed internally what exactly are the wordings of various products that are cleared by IRDA, except a few, one or two products where there is a reference to pandemic as one of the exclusions.
Absolutely.
But even those companies, they came forward and said that this particular exclusion at that particular point of time, we did not keep in view a specific vector-borne disease type of thing like COVID. And those insurance companies also voluntarily came forward, and then they have issued a statement on their own saying that their products too provide coverage to the public at large. Then what we did is we thought of asking all the insurance companies to publish FAQs on their respective websites. And then all the insurance companies, they published frequently asked questions about the COVID-19 and the settlement of COVID-19 claims in their respective websites, and that really helped the policyholders. In fact, we received a number of compliments even from our ordinary policyholders stating that these initiatives really helped them to demystify the myths on if at all there are there on their minds. So to that extent, that's why I'm saying the compliments shall go to the industry.
In fact, the regulator played indeed a very appreciable role, and the way the regulator came forward and allayed the fears of common people that pandemic stands covered, and some of the things, the renewal of the policies, from claims management to issuing directives from time to time, really something the industry appreciated. Hopefully, that will also create and generate confidence among the common people. That's something Dr. Prakash was a trust deficit, something the regulator played a big role to build this trust among the common people. So coming back to Mr. Dr. Bhabatosh Mishra, Bhabatosh ji, you have been in the industry for years, and product designing is something you really excelled at. Do you foresee that wellness evolving as a major component in healthcare delivery in days to come? Do you also foresee major change in product design vis-a-vis the changing healthcare needs? And what sort of roles technology can play here? Yes, over to you, Dr. Bhabatosh.
Thank you, Abhijit sir, to BIMTech. These are very important questions. I would try to answer them as concisely as possible. Referring to wellness, I think it is not necessarily because of COVID, but insurance and health insurance, particularly, and wellness are possibly conjoined at some level. And we have seen demand for wellness in general, and particularly in health insurance, rising over years, more so in the recent past than earlier. It is important to note that wellness has been a domain where corporates who get insurance for their employees have possibly been demanding this for a while, and gradually the uptake has been higher in retail insurance as well. While we do see that, it's very important for us to understand what do we mean when we say wellness. Now, for health, there is a definition. There is a WHO definition that doesn't vary when you go from one country to the other, from one person to the other.
Right.
But when we say wellness, do we have a working, I wouldn't call it a definition, but a working definition of wellness? And it is important because this is going to be a substantially large area of innovation in health insurance in times to come. And our regulator also has already, since 2016, around that and before, started taking steps towards that. And more it is evident with clearly coming more guidelines, etc., is a step in the right direction. So it's going to grow at a rapid pace. Demand is rising, that is given. And that is why it is important to understand that what do we mean when we say wellness. So the most often given example is of Vitality. Discovery Vitality in South Africa, and the Vitality model has been replicated in many countries in Southeast Asia and in Europe as well. Now there, wellness plans also pay for movie tickets and travel vacations, right? Now, how do you classify what is wellness and not is something that we need to work on collectively. And then we look at facets of where insurers and plans and products can make a difference to keep people, let's say, well. So in loosely speaking, while health is physical, mental, and then somewhere it is at the spiritual wellness, well-being of an individual, and not absence of merely absence of disease or infirmity. Just the converse could be, not the converse, but anything that ensures that health could potentially become wellness, which means somebody who has a disease, if you can avoid complications and delay, could be wellness. Somebody who's healthy, you avoid and delay onset of diseases, could also be wellness. And because health has a mental health component, keeping somebody happy and stress free could might as well be wellness, right? So there is
The
large uptake, large
my
demand.
my question here is largely because this question comes in Indian scenario because of the fact that health insurance is in India is curative care, largely revolves about the curative care. Somehow the preventive care element has been missing. And that is largely because of this fact that we go back to preventive care, possibly also to primary care, and start building the healthcare system from there. Possibly there the wellness is assuming the new role. As you rightly said, wellness has a big, very wider canvas, wider dimensions. Which dimension to capture and which one to leave out is a difficult question. But don't you think that this healthcare system and health insurers should start working on preventive care, a little bit on palliative and rehabilitative care also? Those cares are
Absolutely.
missing.
It's not entirely missing, just to correct. So
Okay.
we do plans which have disease management modules for diabetes, hypertension, etc. in
Yes, yes.
market. I would agree that it's not very common. That is true. We do have most of the health insurance plan which pay for annual health checkup, and that's also in some sense preventive in nature, and various other components built into health insurance plans. But as I said, these appear and occur sporadically and tactically. A well stitched wellness module or a program is something that may be lacking in health insurance industry today, but I do see and I'm confident there are steps that are being taken both at regulatory and insurance industry level, and more products will come in with wellness propositions. Now what that wellness proposition is going to be is a different ballgame altogether, and that is where the definitional elements also come in, because that provides a if I may say, a circumference of definition within which insurers will make a play. Now, coming to technology, I think I wouldn't spend too much of time in that, because technology today is all pervasive. So I personal opinion is, um, I don't necessarily subscribe to the view when companies build digital functions or digital departments. Digital is for every function, whether it is risk assessment, whether it is onboarding, whether it is claim settlement. You don't have to necessarily build different functions, but it is an adoption. Every function, every customer journey and pathway has to make anyways. So that's the order of the day. More and more automation, intelligence, these two components will pervade every function across value chain that is given, and wellness is not not going to be bereft of that.